All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for attending the PACE University Paralegal Certificate Program Information Session Webinar. That's a mouthful. My name is Stephanie Plowman, and I am the Program Coordinator, and with me this evening is Jamie Liotta, Program Manager from PACE University. Jamie is going to join us a little bit later to talk about registration and financing. But first, we're going to discuss the paralegal profession in general and the specifics of the PACE program. Now, before we get into the thick of things, just some housekeeping matters. This system is incredibly sensitive. So everyone is on mute. Otherwise, we would be listening to the background noise for quite a lot of people because we have a great turnout this evening. But we would be listening to everybody's lives in the background. And while that's not a problem, I'm sure everyone's lives are wonderful and the background is wonderful. We want to focus in on, on the next hour or so and the task at hand. So everybody is on mute, but with that being said, we do welcome questions and are always ready, willing, and able to take questions. So there is a questions box on your kind of go-to webinar toolbar on your end of the screen, and you can go ahead and type your questions into that box. I will see them as they pop up onto my screen. Certainly if you have any questions over the course of the webinar, you can feel free to type them, and I'll just break at a reasonable time to give you an answer. But then of course at the end of the session we will be opening things up to questions. So with that all being said, let's get started. All right, a little bit about the paralegal profession in general. Now, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that the paralegal profession is projected to grow by about 18% between 2010 and 2020. And given everything that's been going on in the economy over the past several years, this is actually a really great rate of growth. In particular, back in 2009 or so, when the economy really started to crash, attorneys were finding that they couldn't keep up with the high salaries of their young associates and young attorneys in the office. And unfortunately for those attorneys, they found themselves without a job. But the work at the firms was still there and someone needed to do it. So the firms brought in paralegals because for all intents and purposes, paralegals can do the same type of work as attorneys, but for, of course, going to court and advising clients, but certainly in respect to legal research, legal writing, paralegals were able to step into those young attorneys' shoes quite nicely and get the work done at, of course, a much lower rate to the client and to the firm. Now, in addition, there are several areas of law which, for lack of a better word, I like to refer to as niche areas, where paralegals are uniquely situated to have a lot of responsibility and a lot of autonomy. Now, in addition to being program coordinator of our paralegal program here at Pace University, I am also a practicing attorney in New York City. And while my specialty is federal criminal defense, I work for a solo practitioner. So when you work for a solo, you somehow find yourself doing a little bit of everything. I can't tell you how many calls I've gotten over the years with my sister wants to sell her house, my sister wants to buy a house, my mother needs to sell her house, things like that that aren't generally in my range of experience. Now, in particular, I dealt with one real estate transaction for his sister where the paralegal on the other side of the transaction literally handled every aspect of the transaction. And I was so impressed with her because as someone who doesn't do real estate law on a daily basis, I had a lot of questions and felt silly, asking just question after question after question. But she was so wonderful and really so kind and so knowledgeable, answered every one of my questions, spot on answers. When we got to the closing, she handled it from beginning to end and soup to nuts, and she was absolutely spectacular. I actually never even met the attorney on the other end of the transaction because I dealt with his paralegal the whole time. And I did send him an email afterwards and let him know just how lucky he was to have someone so great. So areas of law like that, real estate, very form heavy, a lot of math involved. But it's an area where paralegals can have a lot of responsibility and do a lot of good work. Other areas of the law, which can be some of which can be maybe a little bit form heavy, where paralegals can have a lot of responsibility: intellectual property law, immigration law, obviously always a hot area, especially if you're ready, willing, and able to keep up with the ever-changing immigration laws. Uh, Also, just with the economy, whether it's good, whether it's bad, but always going hand in hand with that, kind of unfortunately. But bankruptcy law, great area of law for paralegals, and again, kind of connected with that sometimes, matrimonial law. But there are a lot of great areas where paralegals can specialize and can really get their foot in the door to start doing great work from day one, and have a lot of responsibility moving forward. So paralegal education certainly counts heavily, and helps so much when you to find those experiences, but also to get that responsibility once you do find them. Now, CNN Money has estimated that corporate paralegal is one of the top 50 best jobs in America. So there's also a lot of job satisfaction that goes along with being a paralegal, whether you're a corporate paralegal or in another area of law. And CNN Money has estimated that not only is paralegal one of the top 20 jobs, but the median pay, and this is, with a grain of salt, we give the median pay, is right around 54,000 for a paralegal who is starting out. Now, of course, one of the top questions I get when I do these information sessions, whether they be via webinar or in person, number one is, am I going to find a job when I complete the program? And we're going to talk about that a little bit more as we go along tonight. But also, well, when I find a job, how much am I going to get paid? Reasonable questions. Now, really, how much you get paid is going to depend upon where you go, what kind of firm you're working at. If you're working at a larger Wall Street type firm, there's obviously going to be more money in the coffers to pay all of the attorneys and the staff than there would be if you worked for a smaller boutique type firm or a solo practitioner. Certainly in New York City, the market needs to be taken into account as well, because New York City is a huge market. Lots of jobs out there, lots of money in New York City. So, that certainly helps as well, as opposed to, looking for a job in maybe a smaller city somewhere else. So a lot of factors that go into the determination of what a paralegal is going to get paid starting out. But again, median starting salary around 54,000. Now, this is my favorite slide. Paralegal is a better job than lawyer. And I have a great example of how this is true. Several years ago, my firm was working on a huge federal civil litigation. And on New Year's Eve a day at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the defendant turned over about 250,000 documents in discovery. And as I stood in an office all by myself watching the delivery man wheel in box after box after box of discovery, and then unloading those boxes and piling them up against the wall, it just kind of, as they were closing in on me in the office, I thought to myself, number one, this is a terrible way to start the new year. And number two, there's no way we're going to be able to go through all of this ourselves. We were on an expedited trial schedule. uh, it just wasn't going to happen. So we actually brought in about 10 paralegals from the paralegal program to help us go through all of that discovery. Now, initially, the project started off as more of a document review type project. We really just needed to know what was in all of the boxes, and basically needed just a master list prepared of what was there so we could find it and we could use it at trial. But as time went on, and as the paralegals got a lot more comfortable with the issues in the case, and what we were looking to do and what the defendant was looking to do, they were really beneficial in pulling out documents that they thought would be helpful to us. They started helping us with legal research, drafting motions. They came to court with us. It was just, they were spectacular. Now, the difference between the paralegals and myself as an attorney on the case was that I was still in the office at 3 o'clock in the morning marking exhibits and eating a pizza for one, while the paralegals were comfortably at home sleeping. So they certainly had a more reasonable work schedule, about 9 or 10 in the morning till about 5 or 6 in the the afternoon. Well, I was there pretty much 24/7, it felt like. Of course, after all of that work, the case ended up settling the day before jury selection. So with that being said, I always joke about this slide. Paralegal's a better job than lawyer. Certainly, if you are working in a litigation firm, trial time is always going to be stressful. But you certainly do, yeah, for the most part, you don't take as much work home as the attorneys do. You certainly aren't on call quite as much as the attorneys are. I had to change my cell phone number one time because I was getting too many calls from the federal prison. My bad. I gave them my phone number, but I'm pretty much 24/7 when it comes to working, and certainly a paralegal is not expected to be that way. But you still get the same excitement and the same experience in the law, just with hopefully more sleep than the attorneys. Okay. Long story. All right, the value of a paralegal certificate. Now, you will see if you were looking for a paralegal job online on whatever job board you're looking on, that employers and firms are looking for someone either with paralegal experience or a paralegal certificate. And really, as far as I'm concerned, the two are interchangeable, because what they're really telling you is that they want someone who's going to come into the office without a massive learning curve, without a deer caught in headlights look. If they were to hand you a file and say, this new case came into the office, I need you to draft a summons and complaint, off you go, you're going to take that file and you're going to draft that summons and complaint. The attorney is not going to have to stop and explain to you what a summons and complaint is, how it's used in the litigation process, how to draft one. Certainly, whether by experience or taking the PACE paralegal program, you'll know exactly how to draft a summons and complaint, because you will draft a summons and complaint in the program. So when you see job postings looking for experience or a paralegal certificate, they're looking for someone who has a legal baseline, who, other than the usual learning curve in starting any new job, you're really going to be able to hit the ground running, and you're going to be able to start working from the minute you get in there and to really prove yourself as a valuable member of the team. So I always tell students, when they ask me questions about, I don't have any legal experience and this really is a job change for me, that's okay. Apply to these jobs that are asking for experience anyway, because once you've completed the paralegal program, you are going to know how to do all these things. You are going to know where to look in the rules for various things that you're going to need. You're going to know what to do. You're going to know how to answer the questions. So that's what that is all about. All right, and then finally, the National Association of Legal Assistants estimates that those who have a paralegal certificate do earn slightly more than those who do not. So, education is a beautiful thing. Every little bit helps, and certainly anything you can do to increase your value in the job market is a great thing. So, all right, with all of that being said, let's talk about the PACE program. Now, this is a 4-month intensive paralegal certificate program that is broken down. I'm sorry, it's 5 months. Good Lord, I do so many of these. I should know that by now. It's a 5-month intensive paralegal certificate program that is broken down into 2 core components. Now, the first one is your essential skills class, and that is basically an introduction to the law. Legal writing, legal research, courthouse structure, legal terminology. On the first day you walk into class, you're going to be assigned a hypothetical client and fact pattern, and you're going to work that client the whole way through in all of your writing assignments. So you'll start off with simple writing assignments such as a demand letter, client correspondence. You'll work your way up to that summons and complaint that we just talked about, and all the way up to either a summary judgment motion or an interoffice memo. Now, you will also take 3 exams during the course of Essential Skills, and you must pass both the writing component of Essential Skills and the exam component with a 70% or higher. Also in Essential Skills, as I mentioned, you will learn legal research, both old school style in the books, but also via the 2 main legal databases, Westlaw and Lexis, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as we move forward. Now, the rest of the program, and we'll kind of talk about scheduling and how the classes are broken down once we get to the slide with the fall semester schedule. But the rest of the program is broken down into 4 different substantive areas of law, 4 weeks each. So you will have 4 weeks of tort law, 4 weeks of contract law, New York procedures, and family law. For each one of those classes, you'll have 1 short writing assignment and you will take an exam. And just like essential skills, you are required to pass each substantive with a 70% or higher to successfully complete the program. Now, if you're doing the math, although I may have thrown you off by calling it a 4-month program instead of a 5-month program early on, again, I do a lot of WINFO sessions, you will realize that that is only 4 months of substantive classes, and that is because the other classes are given over to essential skills, whether it be law library time, computer lab time, what have you. Now, a core component of the program, and we've been looking at this slide now for a little bit, is our website, paralegalspace.com. Now, when you first register for the program and shortly before classes start, you will receive your login to paralegalspace.com, and this is what you will see when you first log in. Now, at the outset, Paralegal Space is a communications portal among instructors, administrators, and students. But more importantly, the site has amazing study support that accompanies each one of your classes, and we'll get into that in a little bit in a minute. Now you can see here on the right-hand side there are a series of tabs. Over here, recent announcements. We love to communicate via announcements. This is what you should read for class next week. You know, great article about this. You know, it's a great way to communicate with the whole class at once. Now, this is an example of a main program syllabus, and you can see here over on the left-hand side, you will find all of your assignments, reading, writing, exams for essential skills from the very beginning of the semester all the way to the end. So you know as soon as you get the syllabus from day 1, actually before day 1, right around when you register or shortly before the semester starts, you know that during week 5, your first writing assignments are going to be assigned, and they'll be due during week 8. So certainly, you know, if you know you have any plans over the course of the semester, you can gauge your time accordingly. Now over here on the right-hand side, you'll see that we just have the substantive schedule, and that's because each one of your instructors will post his or her own syllabi with reading, syllabus with reading assignments prior to your first class. Now, all of your instructors are practicing attorneys or judges in the New York area. Our instructors at PACE, we really are so very lucky because our paralegal instructors are spectacular. They're wonderful. The majority of them have been with the program since it started. They're in the classroom for the sheer joy of teaching. And they really have so much to bring to the table. They are all experts in their respective fields. This is what they do every single day. And you know, then they come to class on Saturday or in the evening to share their knowledge with you. So we really are lucky with a wonderful set of instructors over, throughout all of the different sections that we have at PACE. Now, another thing I want to note is that all of your assignments and exams are done on Paralegal Space. So it is very important that you have, a computer that you don't want to throw out the window every time it crashes, that doesn't crash regularly. There really is, a high-tech component that also goes along with taking the program. Not only just in working through the corresponding study support on Paralegal Space, but again, all of your assignments, they'll be posted on Paralegal Space. You will submit your assignments on Paralegal Space. All of your exams will be taken online on Paralegal Space. So you certainly want to make sure that you have a laptop, a desktop, whatever that you're comfortable with. And again, you're not going to want to throw out the window at the drop of a hat. Okay, this is the resources folder. This is where we will post additional resources for you over the course of the semester just to assist you with all of the materials that you are going through and what you are learning. This isn't the main area of study support for the site. We're going to get to that next. But again, it is an area where we'll post additional items for your review. In particular for New York Procedures. New York Procedures is the one class where we don't have the same structured study support as we do for the other classes. So we will post additional materials for you here under resources, whether it be PowerPoints or templates for documents, anything that your instructors feel will be helpful to you. You'll find it here. But the main area of support under the site, let me just go back for a second, is under the Parastudent Login tab that you can see right here. And this is where you will find support to accompany each one of the chapters in your Essential Skills books, as well as the chapters in Torts, Contracts, and Family Law. So what we recommend is that you read the material prior to coming to class, come to class and listen to and participate in the lectures, and then work through the corresponding study support. And basically the study support has a little bit of everything. And I see we have a question. I'll get to that in 1 second. It has a little bit of everything. It has, you can see right here, lecture notes, mock exams, quizzes, all sorts of things to assist you in really understanding the material. One of the questions that we just got, does this site work well on a tablet? There are a lot of flash files on the site, so certainly Apple doesn't like Flash very much, but we have non-Flash versions of the substantive support that is available to you, and also as far as the essential skills support is concerned, any file that's a Flash file that you're going to click on, it will automatically take you to the non-Flash version if you are trying to access it, whether via a Mac or on an iPad. But yes, we have lots of folks who use the site via a tablet and don't have a problem. And certainly, we're always available to troubleshoot whether you're using, any kind of tablet or a Mac or an iPad or your laptop or whatever. We are available to troubleshoot over the course of the semester to assist you with any kind of tech issues that may come up, whether it be just kind of tweaking settings on your end or whatever, or unblocking pop-ups or something like that. There is tech support available to all the students to make sure that, you got a lot to learn. You don't want to have to worry about, any kind of tech craziness. So I just got a question. There's no audio. I think that I haven't heard anything that anyone can't hear me, so you might want to, well, I don't know why I'm saying this out loud because you also can't hear me. All right, just give me 1 second to write back to this, to answer this particular query. So, okay. Okay, now back to our discussion of the study support here. Now, as I said, there's all sorts of, okay, there's all sorts of study support that is available to you in Essential Skills. So you can see here lecture notes, so it gives you kind of an explanation of especially with the terminology, the various terminology that you're going to learn in the program. Learning the law can be like learning a foreign language. So, we want to give you, all the assistance that we can in helping you learn that language. And it's not just because there's a lot of Latin involved, but, there's a lot to take in. It's a different way of speaking in some instances. It's a different way of thinking. It's a different way of analyzing. So, we want to assist you from the get-go in kind of getting in that legal mode. Now, hang on a second. Okay. So we have tons of mock exams for you after After every couple of chapters, you can work through mock exams to test yourself on the material that you are working through. Make sure you understand it, see if you're an expert in it, see if you need a little more assistance. And when you are working through the mock exams, not only will you get kind of instant gratification in that you'll see whether you're right or you're wrong right away, as well as why the correct answer is in fact the correct answer, but you will also see at the bottom of the screen there is an additional study link to take you to more study support for that particular concept. So if you're not quite an expert in hearsay, don't worry, you are not the first, but you can get additional help in that area of law or whatever area of law you are working on at the time. In addition to the lecture notes that we saw before and the mock exams, there's all sorts of stuff here on the site in the study support. We have interactive exercises, demonstrations, legal cartoons, you name it, it's probably there. We'd like to mix it up and keep it interesting, and help you learn it. You do get out of the program what you put into it. So not only do we require students to work through the study support, but more importantly, I mean, we encourage you to do it. It's important. It really does help a lot. We are packing a lot of material into a short amount of time, and you really want to get the most out of it that you can, and you want to get out there and you want to get a great job and you want to succeed. So it is there for you, and it is there to help you. So we require you to use it, but we encourage you to use it. We want you to. It's there for you. It's there to help. Here are some examples of interactive quizzes that you will work through. Again, get immediate gratification or not gratification if you're not right. Paralegal perspectives, sometimes there'll be a way you will read about something in a book, but there might be a twist to it in reality and practice. So we want to, give you that twist. So you'll know once you get out there, once you start practicing, that you may need to look for, a little something else if this should come up in practice. Okay, in addition to the support that tracks each one of the chapters in the books, we do have a couple additional labs to assist you for you to work through. One of them is the Law Library Lab, and this is an area of the site where you can familiarize yourself with the types of materials that you will see in an actual law library or in your online legal research via Westlaw or Lexis. So you can get comfortable with it. So you can familiarize yourself with it so you'll know how to use it in both your research in general and your legal writing. Is it primary authority? Is it secondary authority? How is this gonna work for me? Now basically what you will do when you're working through the law library on the site is you'll click on the book you want to look at in the stacks, and then that book will open up for you. Over here then on the right-hand side, you can learn everything and then some you ever wanted to know about these particular materials, how to research in them, how to find what you're looking for, and again, how it will be used in your legal writing. Now, being an efficient researcher is a coveted role as a paralegal. It is a wonderful thing to be able to do, to be a good researcher, to find what you're looking for, to know what you're looking for, to know where to find it. But it is something that's really valued by law firms, by attorneys. They want, they want to find paralegals who can assist them with their research, who know how to to get what they're looking for, find cases, find authority that will help, help in their arguments and of course, most importantly, help the clients. So in this tutorial right here, you can familiarize yourself with all these materials. You'll find out how everything is updated and of course the most efficient way to research them. Do you start in the table of contents? Or are you going to go through the index? Where do you find what you're looking for? Lots of different ways and lots of ways to go when it comes to research. So with that being said, I mean, the reality is what everyone looks forward to every semester is the issuance of Westlaw and Lexis research codes. codes. Now, Westlaw and Lexis are the two main legal databases that attorneys, paralegals use to research case law and statutes and law review articles and secondary authority, etc. Now, you will have access to Westlaw for the duration of the program, and you will have Lexis access for 1 year from your start date. So even when the program is over, you will have access to Lexis, so you can keep researching. And that's always something nice to bring to a prospective employer, to let them know that you have continued Lexis access after the program, or at least several months after the program, because in reality, in practice, Westlaw and Lexis are very expensive, and you learn both of them in the program because you have no idea what you're going to get when you get out there. Law firms have one or the other because they're so expensive, and quite frankly, it's based upon which company gave them a better deal. When I started practicing, I think I started off on Westlaw, and then Lexis gave us a better deal, so we switched over, and then back to Westlaw. I have access to both now, thanks to the program, but I lean a little bit more towards Westlaw these days, but you just don't know what to get, so you want to be comfortable and proficient on both, because really the goal is, again, to be an efficient researcher. In reality, in practice, once you log on to Westlaw or Lexis, the clock starts ticking, and as the clock is ticking, the dollar signs are going up, and those costs are, of course, being passed along to your client, but it can be very expensive. So you want to be able to get on and off Westlaw and Lexis as quickly as possible. Get on, find what you're looking to find, put in your search terms, know where to go, know what to look for, know how to search, find cases and authority that are going to be helpful, and then log off as soon as you can, quite frankly. In the program, you don't have to do that. You can stay logged on to Westlaw and Lexis for as long as you want. But certainly, if you are doing research, again, my favorite, my favorite example to use is in a negligence case. If you're researching law for, say, an automobile accident case, you don't want to go on to Westlaw or Lexis and in your search terms type negligence, automobile accident, and injuries, because both databases are either going to come back to you and say, here are 1 million and plus cases for you to start looking at, or there are too many cases with these terms. We can't give you anything. You need to narrow it down. So you want to get comfortable. You want to click around. You want to find out what works, what doesn't work. And of course, over the course of the program, that is a great time to do it. Now, I don't even know why I bother saying this anymore, but Westlaw and Lexis, it's been about a year and a half or so, have updated their databases. So you will have access to, well, it's not even called Westlaw Next anymore, just Westlaw. You will have access to the updated Westlaw database, as well as Lexis Advance. And really, both of them are a lot more akin to a Google search than Westlaw and Lexis used to be in the past. So it is a lot more streamlined and a lot easier to use, both of them. Now, you also have access to Westlaw and Lexis training labs. We do recommend that you use the training labs on those respective sites. Once they updated and streamlined the databases, they also included amazing tutorials and webinars like this that people can log into, and just little 5-minute videos to take a look at, on specific topics. And they really have amazing training and amazing resources on the respective sites. So we do recommend to students that you do work through those resources on the sites themselves, because they are super helpful. All right, and here's Lexis. I mean, I should have switched to that halfway through, but it looks substantially similar. Okay, in addition to the legal research labs, you will also have access to the writing labs, which are very helpful as you are drafting your documents for essential skills. This is where you will find templates for each one of the writing assignments that you will submit for essential skills. Now, there's no reinventing the wheel in the law. I can probably count on, I have to say 2 hands now because I've been practicing for 15 years, but 2 hands, the amount of documents that I have started completely from scratch during the course of my practice. Instead, you will use a template. If you have drafted a summons and complaint for that car accident case 6 months ago and another car accident case comes into your office, you're not going to start completely from scratch. You're going to pull up that old complaint, you're going to take out the old facts, you're going to put in the new facts, and you're going to have a great draft to show your attorney. So with that in mind, let me go back for a second. With that in mind, you will have templates for each one of these documents. Now we have available, whoopsie, now we'll go again. We have available to you templates and instructions for all states and the federal jurisdiction. You of course will use the New York templates because we're all in New York, but you will have access to the other templates as well. And we'll have access to them, and we'll get to this in a little bit also, when we move you over to a graduate site after you have successfully completed the program. But essentially what you will do when you're ready to utilize one of the templates, you'll click on whichever document you are working on and the tabs at the top of the screen here. And over on the right-hand side, you will also choose that document. Now, whoopsie. I got a new mouse and it's a little bit sensitive. Okay, so what you can do over here after you choose the document, you can get step-by-step instructions in drafting that particular document by listening to an audio lecture, or I shouldn't say or, and you can take a look at the step-by-step guide to learn about each one of the components that you need to include in that document. So this is of course really helpful, especially if you don't have any legal background or experience. You know, what does a complaint even look like? How do I draft one? So certainly you will have access to these templates as well as templates that your instructors will bring to your attention in class or post on under resources. Now, I should also note, we also have a citations lab. So when you get to the study of state and federal citations, and those are the series of letters and numbers that you'll see after a case name. So as soon as you look at a case, you'll know exactly when it was decided and what court. But we also do have a citations lab in paralegal space, so you can practice reading and writing citations. Now, a couple other things in addition to the study support, we also have a where you've been area on the site, so you can keep track of where you've been if you want to. If you've been somewhere, and I say this every time I do a webinar, but I never change it. If you have not been somewhere, the little dot next to the support will be red, but if you have been somewhere, it will be green. So it's just a convenience for you, just to make sure that you're working through all the support available to you, and also to go back if you need to, if you're having a particular problem, go back and take another look at things. And then we just have a help area. We have a table of contents, so you can search the most commonly, I guess, searched terms that come up in the program and in the law. Search, again, my favorite search example, or my favorite, this is, if you're having a problem example, if you're having a problem with hearsay, you can search for hearsay, and then underneath that, anything that is even remotely connected to hearsay will come up, and you can click on it and get more information in the write-up that will come up over here on the right-hand side. Or there is a little glossary, kind of like an online legal dictionary of sort, where you can get definitions of the most commonly searched legal terms. And then, we make some room for fun as well. We do have a chat room on Paralegal Space. So, different classes use the chat room in different ways and for different reasons. Some classes will get right in there and, start talking about the law and what you're reading and assignments and exams and things like that. Some will, start setting up study groups right away. Other classes don't use it at all. Some instructors will go in there and say, I'm going to be in the chat room from 8 to 9 on Monday. If anyone has any questions, come on in. And then we had one class, one semester, that solely used the chat room to plan where they were going to have drinks every Thursday night after class. So, it's there to use or not use as classes see fit. It is a fun way to, kind of build on the classroom community. You're all in this together, and kind of talk about what you're learning, what you're going through, bounce concepts off each other and such. So, it's there for you as the students. Now, once you all have successfully completed the program, we do move you over to a graduate site. It is essentially the same as the site you will work on over the course of the semester, except that you will no longer have those pesky exams and assignments that you will probably be very happy to put behind you. But you'll still have access to the same study support, the same labs, our forms database, all the good stuff that can assist you as you start working as a paralegal. Now, PACE does not offer career placement, but there are several things that we do to assist you as you get out there in the job market. Number one, we are constantly getting job postings from local attorneys. We just got one today, actually. But we're constantly getting postings from local attorneys who are looking specifically for a PACE paralegal, and we will post those job openings for you over the course of the semester on Paralegal Space. But certainly after you have successfully completed the program, we'll post them as announcements so you can go ahead and apply for those positions. We also have a section in Essential Skills for job strategies. So, you can go through how you should rework your resume and cover letter, especially if you don't have legal experience, or just hone in on your job search to assist you in getting a legal position. I had someone come up to me at an in-person info session that I did one time, and he very dejectedly said to me, I don't have legal experience. I'm concerned about my prospects when I get out into the marketplace. And so I asked him, well, what do you do? What have you been doing? What's your experience? And he told me he was a paramedic. So I asked him, are you good under pressure? The answer was yes. Are you good with people? Yes. Are you able to multitask? Can you bounce quickly from one task to another? Yes. I said, well, these are all skills, these are all attributes that attorneys live for, that they want in their paralegals. So even though you don't have those skills in the context of a legal job or a law firm, you do have skills that are highly marketable in law firms and with attorneys. So sometimes it's just a matter of, and this always comes out so negative, of putting a spin on these skills and experience you do have to, catch the eye of a law firm or of an attorney. Question, will we have access to paralegal space after the program is over? Yes, once everyone has successfully completed the program, we'll move you to this graduate site, which is pretty much exactly the same as the site you'll use over the course of the program, but with no exams and assignments. So just, all the same resources, but no exams and assignments. And we just keep you there kind of until you say you don't want to get announcements from Paralegal Space anymore. You will have continued access to the site and to the graduate site. Okay, this is PACE Downtown. If you have not already done so, I would strongly encourage you to take the program test drive at paceparalegalstudies.com. You can click around on kind of a modified version of the site. You can take a practice exam, kind of see what you're in for, and just kind of get a flavor, get a sense of what's happening in the paralegal program. As for our upcoming fall, it's hard to talk about the fall when tomorrow is July 1st, but we're doing it anyway. As far as our fall semester is concerned, PACE Midtown Campus, which is at 5th Avenue and 45th Street, right around the corner from Grand Central, super convenient. Saturday, weekend classes, Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. September 17th through February 18th. You will have essential skills in the morning from 10 to 12, and then your substantive classes in the afternoon from 1 to 3:30. Evenings at the Midtown campus, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 to 8:30 p.m. Essential skills on Tuesday and substantives on Thursday, September 27th through February 23rd. Downtown, 2 sections in downtown, Monday and Wednesday evenings, 6 to 8:30, essentials on Monday, substantives on Wednesday, September 12th through February 6th, and then our day section, very exciting, have a day section, Monday and Wednesdays, 10 a.m. to 12:30. Again, broken record, Mondays, essential skills, Wednesdays, substantive, September 19th through February 13th. And then White Plains, we're at the law school in White Plains, so that's very exciting. Saturday, we have a Saturday section in White Plains, 10 a.m. to 3:30. Of course, again, essentials in the morning. Essentials is always first. Essentials in the morning, substantive in the afternoon, September 10th through February 11th. Tuition, $49.95 just for being here this evening, logging into our webinar. You will get a $200 discount, but $49.95 plus materials, which are about $600. I say about or approximately because while the essential skills books are a required purchase through the program, as they include tech fees for the website Westlaw and Lexis, your substantive books for torts, contracts, procedures, and family law can be purchased pretty much wherever you would like. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, you can buy them new, used, rent, Nook, Kindle editions, so there are all sorts of options as far as buying those books. You also don't need to buy all of your books right away. You're going to start with essentials and torts, but you're not going to start family law until late January, early February, so you can certainly pardon the pun, pace those purchases. We also have an online paralegal certificate program, open entry, self-paced. You will be assigned an attorney instructor pretty much as soon as you register for the program and get all of your financing ducks in a row. You will get your Paralegal Space login information, you will be assigned your instructor, and you can get going. You will have 1 year to complete the program, and it's essentially the same as the online program, except again it's self-paced, so you are working at your own pace along with your attorney instructor. So whenever it fits in with your lifestyle, you can you can get to that and you can work on your materials. Again, 1 year to complete the program. Tuition is $69.95 and that includes materials. So we will send you your books for the online program. Now, as far as, and again, this is open entry, so you can pretty much register for online at any time. So whenever you're ready, you can register and you can just get started. As far as the ground program is concerned, classes. We're always forming classes. We're always getting ready for the next semester. We do cap the class size at about 25. So you certainly don't want to to be precluded from whichever class section you would like to be in. So, certainly if you think that this is something that you would really like to get going on and you would like to register and you would like to get started, let's certainly try to get everything in order as sooner rather than later. We do accept registrations up until several days before the classes start. Jamie will talk about that a little bit more. We're going to throw it to her in just a second. But definitely, if you have your heart set on the weekend program in New York City, you don't want to be locked out of that section. So certainly do your best to try to get in there as soon as you can. Now, oh, well, not yet. God, I was just telling Jamie this morning that I know exactly which slide is coming next, but I was so ready for her slide. In addition to our paralegal certificate program, we also have paralegal specialist programs, and this is for students who already have some sort of legal baseline already, whether it be a paralegal certificate or have worked in a law firm or have some additional paralegal education. But this is structured similar to the online paralegal certificate program, and it's for a specialist in a particular area of law that may not necessarily be taught in the certificate program, or that you would just like more knowledge and experience in. So this is not even all of the areas of law that we have paralegal specialist certificates in, but from criminal law to immigration to intellectual property to personal injury law, if you name it, there's probably a paralegal certificate for it. Although I've said that a couple times at sessions, and then people have come back and stumped me and said, well, "What about this?" I'm like, okay. Again, the specialist programs are structured very similar to the online program. So open entry, self-paced, you'll have 6 months to complete the paralegal specialist. You will be assigned an attorney instructor, and you will have 2 required courses to take and then 2 electives. So, this is certainly great if you find yourself, say, working in an immigration law firm and, you don't have any specific immigration experience or knowledge. You may be interested in taking that specialist program. So that is always something to consider just in general or after you've earned your paralegal certificate. Okay, now it's time. So with that being said, I'm going to throw things over to Jamie Liotta at Pace University, who I've given audio back to, Jamie, and who is going to talk to you about financing and registration. So Jamie, you're on.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie, for that very informative breakdown of the program. My name is Jamie Liotta, and I'm the program manager of the paralegal program here at Pace University. So I'm here this evening to talk about the registration and the financing options for the program. So the tuition for the in-class program is $4,995, and online it's $6,995. And we do offer payment plan options for both of these programs, as well as the specialist certificates. So we offer a tuition payment plan, which will break up the tuition into 8 monthly payments if you are taking the in-class program. And we offer a 10-month payment plan for those who want to take the online program. So if you're taking the in-class program, you will have 8 monthly payments, and your monthly payment would be about $624. And this will be due on the first of the month for the duration of the program. So you will have up until the graduation ceremony to make your monthly payments. So that's why it's broken up into 8 monthly payments, even though the program is about 5 months long. And same for the online program. You'll have 10 months to make those payments, and so your average monthly payment would be about $699. And again, those will also be due on the first of the month for the duration of your program. So with the payment plan, there is a $35 enrollment fee and a $50 down payment due at the time of enrollment. And then the first month's payment will be due on September 1st, since all of the programs begin in September. So if you were to enroll in a program and enroll in the payment plan, at the time of, if you were to enroll in like July or August, it will just require $85 from you, and then your first month's payment will be due on September 1st. The next option that we have are the private education loans. So with the private education loan, this is through a private loan lender. So federal financial aid is not available for this program, so private ed loans are different from federal financial aid. So with the private education loans, we have the full list of loan lenders on our website. So there's a link in the profile, and we'll also send that to you if you need afterwards. So with the private education loans, first you would have to register for the paralegal program. And then once you have a charge associated with Pace University, you can apply on any loan lender's website. So we have the list of some loan lenders we've seen in the past. We've seen Sallie Mae, Wells Fargo, and Chase Select Loans. So once you're approved for a loan from the loan lender, it will be dispersed directly to Pace University. And then you don't have to start paying back the loan until after you complete the program. And it depends on each loan. Sometimes you can break the loan up into 5 years, so it's spread out more than, say, the 8 months in class payments. So those are the financing options that you have. And you can also register and pay in full online or over the phone. And if you wanted to enroll in the tuition payment plan or take advantage of a private education loan, you'd have to register through me. And on this slide, you can see my contact information as well as my colleague's contact information, Selena. You can give us a call or send us an email with the registration form, and we will be able to process your registration. Because if you wanted to pay online, it will only take the payment in full. So if you're doing tuition payment plan or private education loan, you'll have to register through me or Selena. So that about wraps up what I have to say about the financing options and the registration. Stephanie, do you have anything else to add about like the course content? Any questions?
We're starting to get some questions, so let's open it up now to questions. So anybody who has any, please feel free to go ahead and type your questions in that questions box, and I will read them out loud as they come in. Jamie, I'm going to throw the first one to you, actually. Are credit card payments accepted for tuition?
Yes, so credit card payments are accepted for tuition. You can pay online or through calling me or Selena. And the tuition payment plan website, because the payment plans are done directly online, you can use a credit card payment on that website, and you can also use an electronic check. But with the credit card payment, there is an additional service fee, so we encourage students to use electronic checks to avoid that credit card fee.
Okay, just a program content question. For the general certificate program, we don't have choice of choosing immigration law or other concentration. We'll all be taking the same classes. Yes, that's correct. For the paralegal certificate program, everybody takes the same thing, essential skills, and then the 4 substantives: torts, contracts, New York procedures, and family law. Once you get into the specialist certificates, which again you can take either after you've earned your paralegal certificate or if you already have some legal experience or legal knowledge baseline, you will take 2 required classes and then 2 electives. So as far as the electives are concerned, you'll be given a choice of 5 different classes ranging from, and again, depending upon what the specialist is, ranging from everybody's favorite, right, Jamie, constitutional law, to e-discovery, to legal ethics, to advanced legal research. Those you can pick from those 2 electives. But for the certificate program itself, everyone's going to be taking the same thing. So no choosing there, unfortunately. Sorry. Okay, any other questions? Okay, you spoke about research and writing skills. Can you elaborate on desirable skills for being a paralegal? Listen, I want to be able to hand my paralegal pretty much anything and have them be able to do it. As far as writing and research is concerned, really, certainly you're not going to be given a summary judgment motion or response to write on your first day in a firm. You'll start off with, with I don't want to say easier, but with kind of smaller writing assignments at the get-go until you kind of sort of prove your mettle and prove your worth in a law firm and your writing and research skills. Every law firm, of course, is different. Every attorney is looking, for a little something different in their paralegal, but what we all really want is someone who can kind of be our right hand, who we can rely upon, who we can give tasks to, and they'll do it, and we'll know that they'll get it done and be effective and efficient at it. I actually love writing and research, so I don't have a problem doing that, but I'm the only one in my office who loves writing and research. So certainly, especially being an efficient researcher, as I mentioned earlier, getting onto Westlaw or Lexis and, not sitting there all day as the clock is ticking and dollar signs are going up, being able to get on there and put in research terms that are going to come up with cases that are going to be helpful to you, that's really important. It benefits the attorney you're working for, it benefits the client, not only in finding applicable law, but also for the bottom line. So those are really important skills, and quite frankly, in my office, we don't hire any new paralegals unless they are proficient in Westlaw or Lexis. We want to make sure that they know how to use those databases so we can get them started right away. Okay, we have this might be something that Jamie, you might want to follow up on more closely with this particular student, just as far as an international student and visa requirements and such are concerned. Actually, you know what? Jamie, is that a question that you would rather work one-on-one with the student, just as far as their immigration status and expiration of immigration status and registering for the program? Would you rather work on that one-on-one with the student?
Yes, I can work on that one-on-one with the student.
Okay, I'm going to connect you with, you can see right here, you have Jamie's. I'm going to give Jamie your name and contact information, but I would work one-on-one with Jamie on this one just because it's very specific to you. Not that, I don't want to read it out loud or anything, but I just feel that that's something that would be easier worked on one-on-one. So I will give Jamie your name and your contact information, and you can see her information right here, and you guys can discuss that further together. What documents do you need, Jamie, to submit to enroll in the program?
So because this is an open enrollment program, there are no qualifications for it. All that we require that students have a high school diploma or a GED. So there is no sort of application process. All students have to do is just register for the program.
And Jamie, here's a good one. Someone wants to know if she can call you tonight to do the initial payment.
Love those sort of questions. Of course, I'll be available after the webinar ends.
Yes, so if you could give Jamie a call as soon as we log off tonight, that would be good. And that's so exciting. Thank you so much. We love getting people in right away. That's wonderful. Yes, absolutely, Jamie. Thank you very much. Jamie, if you could give Jamie a call as soon as we're done tonight, that would be great. Okay, any other questions? I have on the tip of my tongue, I have a virus on my computer also, I have on the tip of my tongue to say, like, as we wait for more questions to be typed, and there's one more thing I want to tell you, so it's about graduation, Jamie, so don't let me go tonight until I've mentioned graduation, but
yes.
Okay, technology related question. How in depth does the program focus or cover e-discovery? The Paralegal Certificate Program, it covers e-discovery, but e-discovery is it's a class in and of itself. So, so certainly in the specialist programs, that's one of the electives that you can take. It's a whole class, e-discovery. So it is certainly covered in the paralegal certificate program, but not as in depth as say one of the electives in the certificate program. So, or I'm sorry, as one of the electives in the specialist programs. I'm sorry, hang on. Okay. Are there any resources to develop good writing skills? There are, of course, the templates on the just as far as just learning how to write the specific documents are concerned. Again, there are all sorts of templates on the website for you to work through. You will have access to forms with your Westlaw. Your Westlaw access, is it Westlaw? It's Lexis, your Lexis access, not Westlaw. We don't have forms access on Westlaw, but with Lexis we do. Just so you can, take a look at the various pleadings and documents and kind of get a sense of, how things are structured and how they're drafted and such. Now, just as far as developing good writing skills in general, it really just kind of does take practice. Legal writing is much different than actual writing, than writing sort of a narrative or an assignment, a research project, at school that's, a non-legal type school. So everyone is kind of starting in the same place as far as that is concerned, because legal writing really is sort of a different school. We will certainly assist you with it as far as legal writing is concerned, but as far as just kind of writing in general, you know, that it's not, there's not just kind of a writing in general sort of aspect to the program. You know, we focus on the legal writing and the specific documents that that are assigned over the course of the program. Certainly your instructors will help you with that, you know, that's basically the extent of the, you know, the writing. I mean, you'll be writing throughout, and your instructors will you know, certainly, you know, correct any, I don't want to say obvious writing issues, but, you know, but obvious writing issues. But they're really kind of honing in on the legal writing itself and how things need to be structured and what you need to focus on. Job placement. What is the protocol for placing recent graduates? PACE does not offer job placement, and I actually missed one thing in talking about helping graduates look for a job. There are several things we do to assist you as you get out there in the job market. One of them is, of course, posting announcements from attorneys and law firms and such on Paralegal Space so you can apply to those open positions. Another is the job strategy section that you will have in Essential Skills. And then upon request, we will assist you in setting up an appointment with a PACE career counselor, so you can certainly hone in on your job search, and you can talk kind of one-on-one about what you're looking for, kind of what you need to focus on, and what you need to do to sort of, you know, get out there and look for something. So that's essentially how, you know, how that works. So we don't offer job placement, but we certainly, again, assist you as you get out there in looking for something. While we're waiting for more questions to be typed, oh, another one comes in. Okay. Is the program ABA approved, and is the ABA approval important? This is a long answer. Now, the ABA, just for anyone who doesn't know, the ABA is the American Bar Association. That is a voluntary association that attorneys and paralegals and paralegal programs can join. It's not like the bar of the state of New York or any other state that you hear, you know, I passed the bar to be able to practice law for an attorney. It is a voluntary association. As a young attorney, I became a member in the ABA. I paid, you know, my membership fee for about a year. I got a lot of magazines, and then I never re-upped it. As far as paralegal programs are concerned, in order to be ABA approved, you, number one, have to write a check to the ABA, and you, number two, need to have a very specific curriculum that they require that lengthens the program itself, and also includes additional course requirements, including classes that make it more like liberal arts type classes that make it more akin to kind of an associate's degree in paralegal studies. When this program was developed, our program developer was keen on structuring the program so that folks could develop the transferable skills that they needed to get out into the workplace and do that quickly. Certainly if you are looking for, you know, looking to develop skills to get a new job, you know, you'd like to develop those skills sooner rather than later. So the program developer you know, was very clear that she wanted to just focus on those transferable skills that students needed, as opposed to the classes that the ABA required in order to make it an ABA approved program. There are about 1,200 paralegal programs across the country. Only about 210-ish or so of them are, 300 maybe, are ABA approved. You'll find that the ones that are ABA approved are usually affiliated with the community colleges and smaller schools that don't necessarily have the same name recognition as Pace University. Now, this paralegal program is taught at universities around the country. In addition to Pace, it is offered at Cal Berkeley, Cal Davis, Duke, University of Miami, University of Texas at Austin. None of the programs are ABA approved. None of the universities want them to be ABA approved. And quite frankly, other than maybe like the big, the really big firms who, just think, okay, let's get someone from an ABA approved program because, they think that's a big deal. Really what's more important is the skills that you're getting. I mean, ultimately you need to do what's the best for you as far as your education is concerned, but I haven't heard over the years that students have had a problem with their PACE certificate looking for a job. PACE, of course, has a wonderful reputation in the New York area. It has a great legacy. It's, you walk out of PACE downtown and you throw a rock and you'll probably hit a PACE alum. I mean, I wouldn't recommend you do that, but, whether it be undergrad or law school or whatever. So, PACE has a wonderful reputation in the New York community. I haven't heard from any PACE graduate that they have had a problem seeking employment if that's what they have wanted to do upon successful completion of the program. And a problem in seeking employment was that someone wanted their certificate from an ABA approved program. Quite frankly, until I got involved in the paralegal programs about 8 years ago or so, I didn't even know what an ABA approved program was. I wanted a paralegal who was ready to work, who knew what they were doing, who had experience, who had education. I didn't care. I didn't care what an ABA approved program was. I just wanted someone who was going to make my life easier and who knew how to do that. And that's my long story short. So, ultimately, of course, you need to do what's best for you. But again, it hasn't been a problem for any of our graduates in looking for positions. What are the chances of getting a job after the program if a person is not from a legal background? I mean, we have plenty of people who are taking the program who have absolutely no legal background, and they get out there and they get jobs. You're getting a great experience in the program. You're getting those skills that you can take into a firm, and you can draft documents, and you can research, and you can think. I mean, really, one of the things that you learn in law school, but also in the paralegal program, is how to think like a lawyer. It's going to annoy your family, but it's a different way of looking at problems. It's a different way of analyzing things. It's just a different way of processing the information and just, again, analyzing issues. So, we have tons of students who come in with zero legal experience, and they start applying and get out there, and they found jobs. So it definitely and again, as I mentioned earlier, you certainly have a lot of skills that, again, this always sounds so negative, that you can spin to catch the eye of a law firm, that are skills that attorneys and law firms are looking for. And then the actual writing research, those thinking and such that you'll learn in the program, that comes as you go along in the program. But it certainly hasn't been a problem for those students who don't have any kind of legal background. Okay, actually, this is a question that has not been asked yet. Does this certificate transcend states? So basically, will I be able to work out of New York? Yes, it's not like, again, an attorney has to pass the bar to be licensed in New York. While there is talk about various licensing requirements in the various states for paralegals, other than California, which has some crazy rules, which I just was talking about today before we logged on, there's no licensing at this time for paralegals in New York State or any other state. So you can certainly take your paralegal certificate and work wherever you would like. The paralegal certificate is not like it's not like a state certification to be able to work in the law. It's proof of your PACE education. You have been given a certificate because you have successfully completed the program. It's proof to people that you have successfully passed this course. Other than New York procedures, which is of course very New York specific, all the skills you will learn in the program you can use absolutely anywhere. You will, of course, if you're in New Jersey or wherever you go, you'll know that if you need to look up the statute of limitations for a negligence case in, say, the state of New Jersey, in New York you would look it up in the New York Civil Practice Law and Rules, but New Jersey has its own rules where you could find that same information. So that's why we keep calling it transferable skills. There are skills that you can kind of take anywhere. It's just you're learning, you know where to look, you're thinking, where can I look for this? So you know where to look for things. You know how to answer the questions and find the information that you need to find. What's the difference between paralegal and legal assistant program? I mean, this is a paralegal program. I know certainly universities and actually some of the universities that we're affiliated with have a legal assistant program. PACE doesn't have a legal assistant program, right, Jamie? We just have paralegal.
No, we just have paralegal, correct.
Okay. I mean, listen, the terms are used, lawyers do the same thing. Terms can be sort of used interchangeably in a sense. Paralegal, of course, implies more kind of, education or experience or knowledge or background, whatever. And legal assistant tends to do, maybe a little bit more of clerical and administrative type work. Again, it's all going to come down to where you go and, am I working at a huge firm or for, 2 attorneys, really. It's, as far as the PACE program is concerned, we only have the paralegal certificate program. So, what if you register for the program and you are unable to attend come September? Would you like to handle that one, Jamie?
Yes, so if you register for the program and you decide before starting it that you want to maybe move your registration to a later semester, we'd be more than happy to accommodate that. As for if you're asking in regards to a refund, you have until about 2 weeks before the program starts to get a full refund.
Okay, the $200 discount for attending tonight, how is that validated? Tomorrow I will send a list of participants to Jamie and she will make note of who was there, and if you register then Jamie will take it from her end, right, Jamie?
Yeah, so if you're going to pay in full, then it will just be a payment of $4,795. If you're going to enroll in a tuition payment plan, I will submit that $200 discount to our Office of Student Assistance, and they will post that to your account, and then that will be reflected on your payment plan, so your monthly payments will be shorter, will be smaller.
All right, I actually don't even think this person is online anymore, but it's a good question. As far as course content is concerned, can you elaborate on how you teach students how to draft and file legal documents? I mean, it's, again, we rely so heavily on templates in the law, looking at what's been filed and drafted before, following that pattern. There's really not, lawyers are really creatures of habit. Legal writing has not changed a whole lot in however many hundreds of years, to be honest. So you really, you look at examples of the various documents. You read the various documents just to get a sense of how things are structured and what needs to be included, and and you practice writing the documents, and that's kind of how you're not going to be I don't, a John Roberts or Ruth Bader Ginsburg tomorrow. I was trying to get, two opposite ends of the spectrum there. You're not going to be, an insane legal draftsman after drafting one summons and complaint or one summary judgment motion. It takes time, it takes practice, it takes experience, it takes reading, and reviewing all of these materials. But, we'll show you, we'll get you going, we'll start you with it, we'll give you the base that you can work from. Can you recommend additional materials for reference, for example, books, websites, etc.? I mean, God, books, I mean, I don't even know where to start, really. The Blue Book is a great reference for citations. It's not something that you're going to want to read beginning to end because it's a reference book. It's called the Blue Book, but it's great to assist you with writing and reading citations and how to properly cite documents in your legal writing. Um, I don't even know if I have. I'm actually looking at the books in my office right now, and I just see like trial techniques and constitutional criminal procedure. Certainly, that's something that I'd be happy to discuss with anybody, on a more one-on-one detail, since I'm completely drawing a blank at this point. As far as websites are concerned, there's one website. I feel like it's still. I haven't gone to it in a while because I just haven't gone to it in a while. But there's one website that I used to go to very early on in my career. It's called, let me just see. Oh, I don't know if it's even up anymore. It doesn't even look like it's up anymore. Anyway, if anyone has any specific questions about that, since I'm drawing a complete blank at this moment, you have Jamie's information right here. Selena Chan, who's also a program manager at PACE, she is more than happy to answer any of your questions. If you have any specific questions about content or materials or the law in general, anything like that, bring it to Jamie or Selena, and they will happily pass it along to me, and I am happy to answer your questions. So if there are any further, I'll give everyone a second. If there are, any further questions or anything like that, we'll give you a second to ask those questions. As we are waiting for any further questions to come in, I will just note that upon successful completion of the program, we do have a lovely graduation ceremony. You will get a beautifully framed PACE Paralegal certificate. It's absolutely lovely. And, we have a great ceremony. Your friends and family are invited. There's food, there's speeches, there's a valedictorian, there's a salutatorian. So it's definitely a wonderful celebration of everybody's hard work. So, that's also something to look forward to as well. What if you don't pass the course? There is the 70% threshold for each of the program components. If you do not successfully pass, you will be given an opportunity to resit that particular program component. If it's just a matter of, you're like 1 point away from passing, we will discuss whether maybe extra credit might be beneficial to you. But certainly we want to see people succeed. We want you to earn your certificate, but at the same time, we have to consider the integrity of the PACE program, and make sure that those who are earning the PACE certificate in fact earned it. So we definitely want to work with you to assist you in passing, but sometimes if that's not something that can be done over the course of the semester, it may require a resit, and that's something that that is an option as well. Any final thoughts, Jamie, as we are wrapping up here this evening?
Yeah, so just to go back to the financing options, if someone is interested in doing the private education loan, I would like to encourage them to reach out to me first so I can send them a detailed email with the instructions on how to apply for a private education loan. So just reach out to me first and I'll be able to assist you.
Okay, so if there are no further questions, I think we will call it a night. If anyone wants to call Jamie right after we hang up tonight, please do so right away, because I'm sure everyone wants to get on with their evenings, but we welcome your registration, but please do give her a call right away if you want to do it tonight. Now, if you have any further questions after we log off this evening, because of course the most, usually the most important questions, or the ones that you need the answer to most urgently, are those that you remember after we log off. Please, of course, feel free to reach out to Jamie or Selena. Here's their contact information. If your question is better suited to me, they will pass it along to me. But I thank you all for your kind and courteous attention this evening, for your attendance, and I hope to see your names on rosters and your faces in classroom come fall or spring, because twice a year, fall and spring. So again, thank you to everybody for your attendance, and Jamie, thank you as always, and everyone have a good evening. Thanks so much.